Wealthy people understand that if you can't control your mind, you can't control your life. But what controls the mind? One of the easiest things you can do right now is to ask better questions. Why? Because questions are the steering wheel of the mind. They direct our focus. And most of the time, people scrolling through social or getting distracted through short-term dopamine hits are simply being directed. Their focus is being hijacked onto things that do not serve them, do not build wealth, do not give them fulfillment or happiness. So my question for you is, what do you want to focus on over the next 10 minutes that could teach you the strategies and the secrets on how to build wealth? Maybe not tens of millions of dollars like I've done, but I am going to share with you all of the secrets that I've learned the hard way, the expensive way, that may help you make just an extra 6 figures over the next several weeks rather than tens of millions. But for some of you, it may be the key to unlocking that multi-million-dollar door. So here's the key. Okay? If you pay attention just for the next few minutes, you're going to learn more than most people go to their grave understanding when it comes to money, wealth, fulfillment, and happiness. This isn't coming to you from somebody that rents Lamborghinis for his Instagram profile. This isn't coming to you from somebody who rents private jets or the interior of one that looks like a private jet so they've got a better profile picture to improve their significance for the world. I'm not into that. If you haven't come across my work before, then my name is Peter Sage. I dropped out of school when I was 16 years old. I spent the last 33 years as an active serial entrepreneur pursuing 2 passions. One is building and creating wealth, and the other is pursuing personal growth on ways that most people never understand. I've had some incredible multi-billionaire mentors that have given me some incredible lessons, some of which I really want to give you today for free. So if you really want to make sure that your life over the next 12 months is different, stop scrolling through aimless fake gurus and just pay attention to what resonates with you as truth. And if you get through another 5 minutes of this video and it doesn't make sense or doesn't resonate, go find somebody whom you relate to. But I can promise now, even if you disagree with some of what I'm going to share, I went after this information with a passion. I know what it's like not to be able to afford rent. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I haven't gone to Ivy League schools. Instead, I've worked my way up elbowing the ladder of success. And these are the secrets I want to share with you based on the battle scars I got along the way. So with that said, please pay attention. This is going to be a deep dive into understanding wealth, money, fulfillment, and psychology you've probably never had before. So it's what I call the secret path to legacy wealth, which is essentially the difference between building an identity around money and fulfillment and success versus chasing it. Everybody's out there trying to hustle their way up the ladder of success, but what if there was a way that the top of the ladder could come to you based upon how you saw yourself in the mirror? And yeah, I've made millions over the last 25 plus years. I've lost it multiple times, but here's the thing. Every time I've lost it, I've applied what I've learned and I've made it back faster each time. Even down to 7 years ago, when I lost everything through something I didn't see coming, hit the ground hard, was hundreds of thousands in debt. I didn't care because I'm going to apply or was going to apply the same things I'm about to teach you. And fast forward not that long after, tens of millions of dollars back into the bank account, and I'm back on top. And if I lost it all tomorrow, it'd be a good excuse to go again because I have the formula I'm going to share with you right now on this video. So yeah, my intention is to share some insights from what I've done, not opinion. I want to give you advice. There's a big difference there. Everybody's got an opinion of what they think they should do, you should do. Advice comes from people that have walked the path you want to walk, that have fallen down the potholes, and really want to shine that flashlight behind them to help you avoid those potholes, because we know that if we all become more successful, the world's going to be a better place. There is no scarcity. There is no competition when you appreciate that competitive mindset is going to keep you trapped poor. Collaborative, cooperative, abundance, prosperity-based consciousness is going to change all of that. And that's the world that I want my friends' kids, my kids to grow up in, so that we all have a better shot at the prosperity and abundance we were born for. So what is the wealth identity upgrade? Well, creating lasting wealth without selling your soul, without compromising your values, without trying to cut corners, without chasing money or staying trapped in that scarcity I mentioned. Well, that's what I'm about to share. Who is it and who isn't it for? Pretty obvious. If you're there blaming others for circumstances, or if you're out on personal growth or social, trying to click something to get a quick fix so that tomorrow you're going to be better, it doesn't work that way. You don't go to the gym 20 pounds overweight and walk out skinny. No, you walk out sore. There are steps to take in a workout to transform your body over time. I'm going to give you that workout plan. I can't lift the weights for you. That's not my intention. But I can share with you a workout plan that has made many other people happy, successful, and financially independent. If you expect money to come without inner alignment, you're in Disneyland. Right? If you're using your story as to why you're poor or why things are struggling in order to justify a lack of courage to be able to take new actions, I can't help you. But if you're ready to take full responsibility for your financial reality, if you want to see personal growth as the real path to wealth, because you understand outer world follows inner world, you're in the right spot. If you're open to expanding your definition of wealth, to going way beyond just money, and if you want to take action, say, play the longer game. There's no quick fixes. Stop looking for them. If you want to build a life that leaves a legacy, I'm not talking about getting a school with your name on it. I'm talking about a legacy you can be proud of. So when you take that final breath, as we all will, you can look back and say, wow, that is a movie of my life I would pay to watch again. Rather than most people getting to the end, barely surviving, thinking, wow, is that it? That's what we want to avoid. And trust me, nobody gets on their deathbed and says, oh, please go fetch me my mahogany-framed MBA certificate. No. What do people do? They get on their deathbed. They know they've got hours, minutes, or whatever to live. They've come to terms with their mortality. And they turn around and say, please go fetch me the people I care about the most so I can tell them I love them one more time, so that I can create the memories of the things I was proud of, the things that I did that I was happy with, not lie there and regret about the things that I didn't. If that's appealing to you, keep watching. Why are you here? We pretty much covered it. Yeah, you're probably doing the work, but you're really chasing your tail. In other words, you're trying different opportunities, you're working on yourself, but you're just finding different ways of earning the same amount of money. It's like if you're in a relationship and it's the same relationship as your previous one, but just with a different person, it's probably not them. It's something you're not doing, or you're not becoming the person that your ideal partner would most want to be with. And you're just looking for Mr. or Miss Right. And then when the same person shows up to hold up the same mirror to expose the same flaws that you need to work on, you blame them and move on and wonder why it's rinse and repeat. Same thing with money. You're starting to realize that wealth isn't about action or effort. Why? Because you're putting in the action and effort. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. And most of all, you're tired of the temporary wins. Yeah, the feast, the famine, oh, I'm up, oh, and then I'm down again. It's not repeatable. Well, that's going to change today if you apply what you're going to learn. Why should you listen to me? I've already said. I've built multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses across multiple industries multiple times. This is not a coin flip or a get lucky and try to show you why I'm lucky. No, that doesn't work. I want to show you concrete steps you can apply today that will make a difference in your outer world almost immediately. I say I dropped out of school at 16. At 18, I published my first book. In the mid-20s, I founded a multi-billion-dollar energy company. Yeah, I've been up, I've been down more times, but it's part of the journey. I'm an entrepreneur. I inherently am going to take risks because I like the adventure. I'm not addicted to the certainty of trying to keep everything all the time because I know I can always make it back. I've co-founded, say, multiple companies. I've won multiple industry awards. I've got books published in multiple languages all over the world that have hit #1 slots. Yeah, I don't need to justify or prove why I'm here talking to you, but part of your left brain probably needs to separate, I say, advice from opinion. So why did I quit the old model? One you're probably familiar with, where you're working harder, but really just digging yourself deeper in debt, or you're becoming burnt out Barry that leads to, from stressed out Simon into heart attack Harry, because there's just not enough hours in the day. Well, I was pushing hard, I was going fast, I was stacking my results, trying to prove to the world I was good enough to get over the insecurities as a young man with the fear that I wasn't. Yeah, that's why I was really trying to run my life through what I call goop, the good opinion of other people, always trying to prove myself, whether it was to my friends that had fancy certificates from college I didn't have, or my mom and dad I always wanted to be proud of but never really felt I was. You get the idea. So externally, I started doing well in my early 20s. I was making millions of dollars. I was buying Ferraris for cash. I had beautiful homes around the world. I had global recognition. But inside, I was running on adrenaline. Yeah, I was covered in stress. I was chasing significance. I had no time for connection, and I was really imploding in silence. Yeah, that's when I really woke up to realize there's a difference between chasing success and chasing fulfillment. And if you don't know what that is, you're going to regret it on your final breath. Externally, I was always busy, but never fulfilled. Yeah, surface level success. Yeah, sure, I'm flying Concorde, but who cares? Yeah, I was performing, I wasn't living. And everyone else thought I was winning, but I was still empty. I had swapped it all. And then the breaking point was when I was driving home from the office one night, and I essentially hit an intersection at 60 miles an hour. Why? I was exhausted. I was stressed. I didn't have time for health. I was too busy being busy, trying to make money. Yeah, thinking, oh, when I get money, then I'll go to the gym. It never ends. I always thought when I made my first million, I'll be happy. And of course, what happens? I make my first million. And I thought, well, I'm still not happy. Oh, I know. It's because I haven't made 2 million. I need to get 2 million in case I lose the first, and then I'll be happy. Now, you can replace million with 1,000. You can replace million with 10,000. But I'm sure you have a similar story when it comes to where you think the next level is that if I just get there and it's just that far out of reach, then I'll be happy, then I'll take time off. It's a game you can't win. This lesson helped me realize that wealth isn't something you chase, it's someone you become. The real transformation starts with who you're being, not what you're doing. Your outer world, as I said, will always reflect your inner alignment. That success is no exception. It's not going to change until you change. You can't grind your way to peace. Never going to happen, right? You need to get congruent. Your heart and your mind need to be aligned. And if there's any doubt that drives a wedge in there, it's going to screw you up. So from here, I went on to become one of the youngest official trainers for Anthony Robbins. I spent 15 years traveling the world with Tony. Became chairman of the largest personal development group in Europe. Founded, say, multi-billion-dollar companies. Became the first global ambassador, won a load of awards, blah, 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 blah. My books did well, all because I got the alignment inside. And then in 2017, I spent 6 months in the most violent prison in the UK as a prisoner. But I was a civil prisoner. I'd never been arrested, never been accused of a crime. It was one of those tests where life will say, okay, you're doing amazing. Let's just pull the certainty blanket away and see if you can build yourself back. It came because I was arguing a multi-million-dollar business deal against a multi-billion-dollar company. They had better lawyers than I did. They sold the judge a contempt of court application. If you want to know more about it, you can read my best-selling book, The Inside Track. But I came out of that experience after 6 months. I was $250,000 in debt. I had 1 month rent in the bank. I had no business. I had no credit rating. And that was 7 years ago. Fast forward, it didn't take me long to get back on my feet, pay off all of my debts, buy my next supercar, and create the life that I love. Why? You're about to find out the 3 major key steps that you can take to do the same. And I hope you never have to go to prison to lose everything in order to be able to do it. But if it works for me and it's worked for my students, it can certainly work for you. Right? This is all general stuff. After the event, I went on to publish that, found this, did all this kind of stuff. Let's get on to the real principles here, because that's really what you're watching the video for. But key point, when you upgrade who you're being, wealth becomes inevitable. Read that again. When you upgrade who you are being, not what you're doing, not chasing the next shiny object, wealth becomes inevitable. Because it's not about the chasing, it's about aligning with the frequency of abundance. That's when wealth begins to flow. So, key point. Let's get into it. How do you upgrade your identity to this level? Well, what I'm sharing isn't new. I didn't make this up. I'm following some key principles multi-billionaire mentors taught me, and that's why I know it works, because this has been taught to secret societies throughout history. That's why what we call the ultra elite or the ultra wealthy consistently run the world. And they don't want the masses to know this so that they can keep control. That's changing. That's one of the reasons I'm sharing this, so that we can raise global consciousness together. But it's been guarded by mystery schools, secret societies, and elite circles. But with the advent of technology and information overload, there's a lot getting lost in the shuffle. But if you can find your way to this information that I'm going to share now, you're one of the privileged few that they do not want you to have access to. So, wealth is not something generated outside. It's from who you are. Right? Do you understand how money works? Have you become the person where wealth is a natural outcome? Why? Because these 3 steps are the first part of what has to happen. You've got to clear blocks. You need to understand the rules of money. And then you need to essentially become wealth. How do you clear the blocks? Well, let's identify what are money blocks. Money blocks are beliefs you have around what you believe money is. If you think money is pieces of paper with dead people on it, you're in Disneyland. If you think that money is some numbers on a bank statement, no. Money is a very different form of universal abundance that allows you to exchange goods, services, or value for other objects of value that we call money that allow you a bigger decision space with which to turn left on an airplane versus right. In other words, if you've got blocks that stop you from understanding you are money, if you still think your business or your job or your investments are the source of wealth, right, you're never going to get past the 8 ball. You need to understand that when you know yourself as money, things start to shift. And you can't do that if you grew up watching mom and dad argue over money. You may think that you can go out and earn it, but ultimately you've got psychological blocks inside that link money to a lack of psychological safety. Or if you saw money come, easy go, you don't never have a foundation for keeping it. Why is that important? Because it's not the money you earn that makes you wealthy. It's the money you keep and know how to reinvest. And most people spend more than they earn to try to keep up with the Joneses, get seduced by marketing, and therefore you think you have to look a certain way to impress people, you have to smell a certain way, whatever it may be, you've got to have the next shiny toy. And oh look, here's a way to get instant gratification called a credit card. Destructive debt, when you've never been taught the difference between that and constructive debt, which is what people who have an identity around money have zero fear of debt, but they don't do destructive debt on a credit card. They use other people's money because they know that as wealth, as somebody who understands money and what money really is, they can then march freely into banks or into deals where they can leverage money to make more money. Most people, their only association to debt is interest payments that they can't afford. Get the idea? So you may have many money blocks, and get with a coach that understands this, or work on some of the inner beliefs you have around money. Ask yourself, what do I believe? Do I believe money is hard to come by? Do I believe I've got to work 80 hours a week? Where did those beliefs come from? Was it my parents? Is it my environment? Is it my best friend? Is it just something I was told? Do I still believe that to be true? Do a belief audit on money to uncover these blocks, and you'll be so far ahead of the mainstream population. Why do you start with this? Because if you don't clear your blocks, you're always on that hamster wheel. So how do you do it? Shift your mindset. Take aligned action. If I now have a new belief that money is universally abundant, then I need to take aligned action with that. When I go to buy my cappuccino in Starbucks, I want to check in. How do I feel giving that money or paying that bill or using money as a way to go get something, but I'm focused more on the money going out of my account than celebrating what it's allowing me to do. When you have a general feeling when you spend money of how grateful you are, rather than, oh, I better check my account so I don't spend too much, you're going to start shifting those money blocks. That's what helps release. So, rules of money. Why do you need to learn the rules of money? Because if you don't learn the rules of the game, you can't win the game. If you get onto a soccer pitch and you keep kicking the ball off the pitch and your teammates are saying, what the hell are you doing? So, well, I'm kicking the ball. But if you weren't shown the rules, you can't be blamed for kicking the ball off the pitch. Most people are kicking their financial ball off the pitch into debt land, or into scarcity land. Why? Because you were simply never taught the rules. And if all you were shown was which way to kick the ball into that thing called a goal, everything changes. So you're watching this video still, which means you're prepared to put in the work. You're not off there looking for the next TikTok video or cat video, which is designed to keep you poor and dumb. You really want to understand how money works. So what are the rules? 3 main rules. 1, money is energy. When you realize that money is the only place in the universe that money means anything is in the mind of a human being. I had a famous video on my social one time where I got a ribeye steak on one plate and 1,000 in cash on another plate. And I put it down for my dog and I said, Archie, please listen to me. With $1,000, 1,000 euros on that plate, you can buy so many more ribeyes. It makes sense. Go for the money. What did Archie do? Straight for the ribeye, right? Silly example, but a powerful one. Because money means nothing outside of the mind of a human. Meaning that what you've made money mean is what's stopping it from coming to you. If you think that money is a thing, rather than understand that money is a byproduct or a consequence of adding value, you're always going to be chasing your tail. What do I mean by that? If you were to go to the gym and look at the weights and say, I tell you what, personal trainer, I'll cut you a deal. Give me the strength, I'll go lift the weights. Personal trainer says, no, you lift the weights, you get the strength. You're sitting in front of a fire on a cold night, shivering. You say, hey, I've got a deal to make with you, fire. Go get me the wood, right? And then give me the heat. No, you get the wood, the fire gives you the heat. You're sitting there wanting to get money, saying, oh, I want to go get money. No, you add the value, the money shows up. So if you're trying to make money, you're trying to get strength, you're trying to get heat. No, it's a byproduct or a consequence of understanding how you show up to add value, to look over your shoulder to be able to get money. And money is energy. What is energy? It's an exchange. It's an exchange. Yeah? When you understand that when you vibrate as money, money shows up. Opportunities to make money show up. When you show up feeling great, abundant, wealthy, not coming from scarcity, more of you shows up to add value with, more money shows up. Pretty easy, but hard to do. You've got to rewire your nervous system. How do you do that? You've got to become bigger than your sense information. Your sense information says my bank account is low. But that means emotionally I have to feel unhappy. Well, if that's the case, you're chasing your tail. Your internal world has to become bigger than your external world. If you've got bills, if you've got scarcity, if you've got demands, if you've got all of that stuff going on in the outer world and you're reacting to it emotionally, you have to rewire your nervous system because you have two bank accounts. You've got a financial and an emotional. And your financial bank account follows your emotional bank account. Yeah, if your emotional bank account is high, more money's coming. If your financial bank account is low, but your emotional bank account follows it, oh, I haven't got money, so I feel low. Your financial bank account is going to follow the emotional bank account. More lows coming. So understand that in order to outgrow your external environment, you have to master your mind and become bigger than your sense data. How do you do that? You tie in the identity. You become the person who is money. You walk around as money. It doesn't matter what happens in the outer world. That will always change. As an entrepreneur, by definition, my net worth goes up and it goes down. But I'm enjoying the roller coaster because I'm in the fun fair of life. That never leaves me. Some of the rides I don't want to do again, like prison, right? I won't be getting on that car. But even when I went to prison, I went in smiling. I went in thinking, wow, what an opportunity to help people I'd never had the opportunity to help. I started making a difference to people in there. Even though I'd lost everything in the outer world, my sense data telling me this is a violent, horrible place. Look at my accounts outside. I've lost everything. But my inner world was bigger than that. And as a result, I ended up getting a lot of the prisons off drugs. I was stopping suicides. I won a national award for the work that I did inside. I changed the intake system to help prisons with their mindset that's now being used in prisons all over the world, helping tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people. That couldn't have happened if I let my sense data become a dictator of my inner world. No, outer world follows inner world. Keep my inner world high, outer world follows. Number 3, as I said, you've got to become wealth. What is real wealth? And why do I focus on becoming wealth instead of acquiring it? Key distinction. Well, 3 steps to be able to do this. One is you've got to define your new identity. When you walk out saying, I am a powerful, abundant machine with a Midas touch who really creates value wherever I go, that is a different sense of who you are stepping out of bed than, I'm somebody who things never go right for. I'm working so hard. Why am I so unlucky? Or, damn, why does this always happen to me? You got language patterns like that? Check your thinking. Because when you define your new identity, if I am a powerful, abundant money magnet who will always benefit from cosmic overdraft protection because I am an expression of abundance, right? There is an abundance everywhere in nature. Nature doesn't make one apple on an apple tree. A lemon doesn't have one pip inside it. it doesn't make one blade of grass in a field. Nature always over delivers, and you're a part of that. You have 50 trillion cells in your body. When you start being grateful for the abundance that you're walking through without focusing on the scarcity of what you think money is, what about feeling grateful and abundant for the oxygen you have and breathe? Unlimited amounts. You never have to pay for. No tax on oxygen. Yeah, and you start focusing your energy there. You define your new sense of self by that identity. As I said, mastering your emotions is a big part of that. If you are being led by sense data, you're behind the 8 ball. You have to outgrow it. Think about this, little advanced stuff for you here. But if you're with me this far, I know you understand what I'm about to share. We have 5 senses that all process incoming information into the body to give us the appearance of what we perceive to be outer world. The fastest part of that, and what 80% of our neural network sensory processing data is geared to, is the visual. We're visual creatures. So when light traveling at 186,282.4 miles per second hits the optic nerve, it slows down to 250 miles an hour, goes through into the visual cortex of the brain that creates an image that we perceive to be outer world. That whole mechanism doesn't happen instantaneously. It takes about a 10,000th of a second. So even what you perceive to be real time in the outer world is actually history. It already happened a 10,000th of a second ago. So if I'm emotionally reacting to history, I'm creating more of what's already happened. Outer world follows inner world. So I have to get the jump on that. I have to master my emotions to a point where I'm creating my emotions. I'm not allowing my emotions to be created. That's a key distinction. Otherwise, you're going to walk around in this perpetual loop of same stuff, different day. And the people that really understand this, the elites, the people that have been taught by the mystery schools, know that when you star in your own movie, you don't need to worry about what the film extras are doing or saying about you. You're creating your scenes. You're not reacting to what's going on in the scene around you, because you're always walking that path as the star of your movie. And then one of the most critical aspects to tie all of this together is you can watch this video multiple times and get multiple insights or revelations. But there is a strong law called the law of conformity, which is always in operation. It's like gravity. It's ubiquitous. And it doesn't care if you use the law or not. It's still going to apply. Now, gravity doesn't care if you use it stepping off a roof or if you use it to stay nicely on the floor. It's going to operate regardless. Doesn't care your IQ, your background, your culture. Now, the law of conformity is the same. It is always operating. Our choice is, do we want it working for us, keeping us safe on the ground, or do we want it working against us, stepping off a roof? The law of conformity says that your environment beats your willpower over time every time. Meaning, if you surround yourself with 9 recreational drug users that are always looking at life through the lens of why we can't, not how we can, you're going to become the 10th. It's just the law of conformity. If you surround yourself with 9 people going in the right direction, the same place you want to walk, looking at becoming midwives to each other's dreams, being able to hold a space of compassion rather than judgment, being able to focus on why we can, not why we can't, then you're going to become the 10th. And that is going to sweep you up in a momentum cycle that is going to build results ongoing. So you need to be able to create a peer group around you. Most people don't have a peer group. They have a fear group, or they have a beer group. And all that leads is to more of the same, because you will conform to your surroundings. Great example of this. If you're from England and you go to Australia for a 2-week holiday and you come back, you haven't picked up an accent. But if you go over there for a year or 2 and then you come back, your friends are going to say, you've picked up a bit of an accent, because your environment did it for you. What you put yourself in affected unconsciously every word coming out of your mouth. You didn't go to accent school when you arrived in Australia. No, it just happened because environment beats will over time, every time. So another powerful question for you is this. What financial accent are you currently speaking with because that is a direct result of the financial environment that you've been living in for the last couple of years. Are you watching the news, which is programmed to tell you why things won't work, trigger cortisol, make you feel like a victim, disempowered, and follow authority? Or are you turning that crap off and saying, yeah, it's all the same news, it just keeps happening to different people. So what I'm going to do is block that out. That is a fear group that I don't want to belong to. I'm going to start programming myself with the right kind of information, follow the right kind of people, surround myself with people that, again, look through the lens of how we can, not why we can't. And that is going to have a massive impact long term. So what do we want to do as next steps on this? Well, I'm going to invite you to look at a couple of things. Everything I just shared with you is why I created what I call the Elite Mentorship Forum, or the EMF. Now, this may be a yes, but not yet, or it may just give you a framework for wanting to look at something that you can benchmark other things out there in personal growth. Because if you're watching this video, I know you've already spent money over the last 1, 2, 3, 5, maybe 10 years in this industry, but you're still watching videos like this because they haven't delivered. And it was the same for me. So I know that environment beats will, so I wanted to create an environment proactively. I couldn't join secret societies. I don't have the right bloodline. I couldn't go and join the billionaires club because they wouldn't let me in. I was born on a council estate, right? So from that perspective, I created my own, where we could get together every single week, focus on what is the latest cutting edge technology that allows us to be the best version of ourselves. What is it that you could take out of all of the mystery schools that works consistently, hidden from the public, and learn in a consolidated, accelerated fashion that will give you results today? And how would we structure that over time so that it takes that 6 months of conditioning the inner world until it just becomes natural and effortless? That's why if you want to learn salsa, you can go away for a weekend intensive and get some immediate progress. But 3 weeks later, you've forgotten 80% of what you learned. Whereas if you go to salsa lessons once, twice a week over 6 months, you're dancing at unconscious competence, and it's far more permanent. So 6 months is about the time it takes to go through a set of structured learnings so that you have lasting transformation, not temporary highs. And the Elite Mentorship Forum is a 6-month program that allows you to learn the best of everything I've created and learned the hard way over 3.5 decades, not just generating tens of millions of dollars, but more importantly, upgrading that inner sense of who you are, your identity around money, erasing limitations, unconscious programming, learning how to focus your entire attention on one thing for an extended period of time. Something today's anti-social media is untraining you about. Learning how to really dissect those inner voices, which one to follow and why at the right time. How to get to a place of real authenticity so the goals that you set are your truth, not your insecurities trying to be covered up or please mom and dad or chasing certainty because I think this has got the fastest chance of getting me to where I want to go. None of those false goals that don't lead to fulfillment. Setting true goals that really give you the certainty with the tools and techniques of being able to accomplish them so you have no fear moving forward in the absence of sense data giving you the green light. So everyone thinks you're crazy, but you walk a path you can't be talked out of, and then they think you're a miracle worker when things show up. That's why I created the EMF. Now, I don't just want you to take my word for looking further into this, but instead, if you go down, right? And again, 6 months of transformation, but here's what I want to show you, right? This will tell you everything about it does. I'm not that interested. There's some bonuses if you want to take a look, but go to ChatGPT and type in this prompt into your ChatGPT, not mine. What are the most powerful and effective programs in personal development in the world when it comes to lasting transformation? Because that's what you want and it's what you deserve. And how do they compare with the Elite Mentorship Forum? Just put that in and see what comes up. You will get a side-by-side comparison table. I'm not going to ruin this surprise right now. Go do it yourself. Ask it to compare against things like Tony Robbins or Joe Dispenza or Bob Proctor or Mind Valley, or Gary Vee or any of the people doing the rounds. Landmark Forum, anything out there in personal growth you can find, and find out why the Elite Mentorship Forum is different. Why this actually creates and was designed to create lasting transformation, not temporary change. You've been sold too much of that, and it's time it stopped. Now, if you're serious about being able to become the person you were born to be, go and have a click on the link on this page and speak to one of my team about it. Yeah, I'm not trying to sell you on this. I'm trying to invite you to look in the right direction so you're no longer running east looking for a sunset, blaming your shoes or your personal trainer, right? You need a new paradigm shift. And that's what the EMF can provide for you. And so give my team a call. Every person you speak to will be a graduate of this program. They're going to be coming from first-hand experience, not a sales script where they're trying to sell commission. No, they're passionate about bringing more members of the family, and we've got thousands and thousands globally into our network, into the Elite Mentorship Forum. You can tell when you walk into a room who is a graduate of this program, who isn't. There is a different demeanor, a different energy, a different spark. This is most likely the program you've been looking for. And if it's outside of your financial budget right now, because you do have to have some level of fair exchange, then let us help you get on track with a direction of travel so you can go out and make money using some of the key things you've learned today and some other resource we'll happily give you so that you can go generate the funds where cutting a check for EMF is almost an easy, natural part of what you do, like ordering coffee in Starbucks, because that's where a lot of my students are. Thank you for your time today. I hope I've come across as someone that's authentic, someone that's passionate about wanting you to look in the right direction. And if the EMF isn't for you, that's great. Go resonate with somebody who can provide you with something. Or go on the solo path, which you've probably been doing already, and just try to sift out the hustles from those people or those pieces of information that can really help you move forward. But if you want to take an absolute action today that can really have an impact that your future self is going to thank you for, just click the link and just have a casual conversation. No hard pressure, no sales techniques. Just talk about why EMF is different, why it may be right for you right now or a year from now. But I promise you, whoever you become at the end of this 6-month program is going to be looking back at the person you are today. And thank you so much for making the decision to book that call. Thank you guys. Stay amazing. I'd love you to join the family. I'll see you there.